Hi everyone, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have a Divine Masculine Twin Flame read for you. It is March 15th, 2019. 15 is the devil energy, and the day adds up to 30, which is the Four of Wands. It's the union energy. So it's about home and family and structure and celebrations, but the shadow energies are involved with the situation. So let's see what comes up with this information. As I started to do the read today at 9:02 this morning, I looked at the underlying energy, which was the Five of Crystals here, with the transition card underneath it. And you see in this deck, it was coming up like this, and this is the death card or transition, so that's literally a portal. So this is like someone in exile while going through this portal. Okay. So as I looked at that card before I started doing clarifiers, all of a sudden I felt like vomiting, like just really sick. Like I was disgusted, awful sick. It was a really awful feeling. It was definitely like a past life feeling. But it also related to the masculine, any shame or guilt that he's feeling and whatever that's around, okay? So the read was done at 9/11 today, 9/11, and we're going to get right into it. The major arcana for the Syrian Starseed deck, which you just saw that I used as the main deck for the read, it was the Great Wheel, or the Wheel of Fortune, Luna, which is the moon, and the full moon's coming up soon, and then Karma, which is judgment. So there's some, destined energies, but also heavy energies there with Karma and the moon. And also the transition card was that card, the death card, beneath the underlying energy card. Sorry, the Mercury retrograde definitely affects my ability to speak, so I'm trying not to trip over my words. So we have the three major arcana plus the transition, so four altogether. There was 2 pentacles, 2 cups, and 2 swords. No wands today. The only major arcana, the only court card that came up was the Knight of Cups, which is interesting because in the clarifying cards, the last card of the clarifiers, not the main read, was also the Knight of Cups, okay? So there are definitely positive from the recent past where the Knight of Cups is in this read, and then the final clarifier of the Knight of Cups, it's some positive energies, but a lot of stuff coming up in between. The coding and the topic of the coding was all about rebirth, so it's definitely that tower energy of transformation, so it's the tower and the death. And then the numbers that came up were 33, 55, 513, 9, 35, the sequence 789, 13, which is the transition, the death card, and then 224 came up. And 33 is that Christ vibration. It's the 7 of Wands, which is standing up for yourself. 55 is all about the truth, nothing but the truth and the whole truth. So help me God, and actually that came up today. So I guess that's why I'm bringing it up again. And then 35 is the wounded warrior energy. It could be a worrier or a warrior. So we have standing up for yourself to the truth, and it's the wounded warrior who has very little fight left, but but they're still defending their wounds. And as soon as I started to go into the coding, and I was just getting Dakota, so that must be a message for someone. I was getting do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, okay, from the Sound of Music. So do, a deer, a female deer. Ra, a drop of golden sun. Or Ray, a drop of golden sun. Ra, meant to be coming up here also. Me, a name I call myself. Far, a long way to run. So, a needle pulling thread. La, a note to follow. So, tea, a drink with jam and bread. That will bring us back to do, 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 do. Okay, so it's always bring us back to the doughy-eyed feminine. Okay? So whatever that brings up to you, please comment below. It was very prevalent, the first thing here. And then when I wrote down the letters for each, do, ra, me, just the first letters to get some kind of acronym, it came up as DR, so like doctor, and then MFS, and then limited, LTD. So MFS was coming up in the middle, and that was coming up as different things. molecular fluorescent spectroscopy was coming up, and mimics from scratch, middle finger salute, which some of you might like that. So doctor, the middle finger, and then LTD. Mountain family systems, also multifunction spoiler, maxillofacial surgery or dentistry, memory file system, and then mobile file synchronization, mobile, so moving file synchronization. Married filing separately also came up, and made from scratch. And I noticed when I looked up to remember the words for The Sound of Music, the pictures of The Sound of Music that came up were all in greens and pinks, those soft pinks and greens, like this kind of pink. So the coding that came up with rebirth had to do with, well, the moon definitely comes up here, but it's about the full moon showing its power. And I remember what I learned yesterday from the downloads is coming back into today, so I wouldn't have understood what they were telling me today if I hadn't gotten the downloads yesterday about the full moon being the false persona of the masculine, right? Because it's a reflection from the sun to the moon. So the false persona of the masculine, or the karmic energy, because she reflects him, so his false persona is his karmic, is coming up in that full moon, where the moon tries to show its power, that false energy. So it's about us not feeding into the service to self. So service to self and service to others was coming up here. It was coming up as RA versus RI, because the R in this deck, it extends like this under the next letter, which cradles, which came up, rocking the cradle, but also holding, like the psoas muscle holds the kidneys. It was coming up the RA, either cradling the A or cradling the I. But here the I wasn't coming in as the service to others. It was coming up as the ego, service to self, or EI, ego I. Okay? So let's see here. T-ray was coming up here. And T, for me, is that toggle, which is the anchor. So the anchor ray cradles the A, expands through this transition portal that we're experiencing right now, and a vector was coming up of the moon. So there's a portion of the moon, the vector of the moon, the full vector, all right, is being shown as a show of power. It's the false light showing its power. TRA was coming up as transition, but also theory of reasoned action, take risk assessment, and it's basically to nix the DM, you know, to send them on the wrong path again, to go back to their false ways, their inauthentic selves. Also, Taiwan was coming up a couple times in those, and also Trinity River Authority. Also, EIG was coming up as electromagnetically induced grading, or it could just be EI as electromagnetically induced, which is the connection between the twins. And then the eigenvalues, which is math, eigenvalues and vectors, and the matrices here of V and D, because D has been coming up a lot, and V for me is co-creation. And then the A was coming up under E for the eigen as code for that, literally, for the math equation. Under EI was also coming up, TRA was coming up with Teachers Retirement Association for teachers there, and then also tumor resection antigen. Emotional intelligence was coming up, Ireland, EDU Institute, and I guess a lot of Irish stuff is coming up right now. Early Intervention, Environmental Impact, Earth Institute, which is Columbia U, European Integration, Environmental Illness, Energy Institute, Enrique Iglesias, Electron Ionization, Entertainment, Industry, Exposure Index, East Indies, Execution Index, as well as Expansion Index, and Eugene Island are all coming up for IE. So now we're going to get into a little bit more about that coding. I gave you the numbers. Let's see here. So it was a little bit random right there. But so then I turned the page to go on with the coding to get something more simple. And it was really about toggling or anchoring the RA, the Ra, cradling the A, the King of Swords, and the Empress. They're electromagnetically induced by God with the moon's show of power, the full moon, obscuring the divine masculine to his authentic self, and cradling the I or the E, which is the ego self, at the full moon. So then, like I said yesterday, at the full moon, the masculine energy reacts like and freaks out and gets angry, right, which is the full moon energy, in seeing his false self, because now that full false self is being reflected to him. And then the masculine explodes and the divine feminine has their period, or literally bleeds out in emotion or physically could bleed out. It's that matching of the 28-day cycle. So as I started the read here, and like I showed you, it starts with the 5 of crystals, which is the abandonment while transitioning. Healing, forgiving impatience, the divine masculine, his own temper, but no full explosions here till the full moon. It was just 11:11 talking about the masculine's temper. Implementing a plan once he's through this portal with these heavy energies. Now this card is like being in exile here. You're outside the crowd. Handouts given to others, but not to him. Him feeling shame, guilt, taking off in heartbreak and separation to offer a new life to someone else. So before I go on to the rest of this, I was guided about the explosions, no explosions from the masculine until the full moon. It was guiding me up back to, I was just talking to my twin friend yesterday who we were talking about Lent, that it was from March 6th. And my voice is going, so this is important, okay? So we go back to March 6, 2019, which by the way adds up to 21, which is completion, which we start the 40 days. And 40 is the Page of Cups. So it's that innocent, pure love. It could be a child as well. So we start at Lent at 3/6/2019 with the completion. And now the rebirth of the innocent child. This is what the masculine's going through. This is Lent. And I got Lent underlined yesterday too. Well, if you add 40 days to 3/6, where do we end up? We end up at 4/15, which is tax day, where we Lent. Now we must pay back. All right, April 15th. And then the rise is April 18th, right after that, 3 days after that. Okay, and remember that Matthew is the tax man. And that was coming up this week as well. And any quotes I see, ooh, let me see, I was just guided to pull you guys. I got this in the mail, and I just held on to it. It's got like a daily Lent calendar of Bible sayings, and I'm just guided now. I haven't done this before. I'm guided to read you the one for today. So let's see, where are we? We're on March 15th. Okay, Friday, March 15th. And here we go. It's from Matthew. Matthew 5:20-26. And that is, go first and be reconciled with your brother, and then come and offer your gift. So it's basically God saying, you know, I don't offer me your gifts first. First, make peace with everyone in your life, and then offer your gift. Make peace with everyone, with yourself. The offering to God here says, I will reconcile with someone I've had a disagreement with. Okay? That's your, maybe I'll read them every day since I have it. It's just for now, for this month, I believe. Okay, so Matthew came up for a reason. So it's very cool that Lent comes back to from 3/6 to tax day 4/15 of paybacks. You lent someone something, now paybacks are coming, and this is all about karma and retribution. And then plus the 3 days of the rise ends up on 4/18-19, right where it's supposed to. So very cool. And it's where I wrote this in the corner here, I literally had transcribed the coding from the other page, and again I had the numerology card rebirth. Rebirth, Lent, paybacks, and the rise. And we're going from the completion of 3/6 and the 40 days and 40 nights of the Page of Cups, which is the new child. All right, so as we get back into the read, the masculine implementing this a plan once through their portal, this difficult energy, which also could be the portal of getting through attacks, because they're feeling attacked by the energy. They're going to feel attacked by other people's energies as well. Handouts given to others, like I said, and not him. Him feeling shame, guilt, and taking off in heartbreak and separation to offer a new life to someone else. So there's guilt here, whether it's for his karmic or for his feminine. Either way, there's guilt. In the past, away from his goal of growing roots upward, framing dark and light pillars. So literally, there may be someone trying to frame someone to get out of a situation, or just framing this the dark and light pillars around him. A Viking Italian descent was coming up here. Olives and salt and pepper on the brain, but no olive branch extended. Only false lotuses around. So there's no real opening of the crown. It's a false crown. And two-dimensional bipolar energy. No meeting in the middle, and shady, only showing black and white. Sitting on the fence, actually that olive branch not extended and about to break for this Viking Italian, and this is coming up as a feminine karmic. Unaware, pretending not to know, this is her, in secret hiding something inside. Big planters that grow up to the sky. So I was literally getting that there's a karmic hiding something in some big planters, and or a shadow account, one business or bank account for others to see, and another that's dark and hidden. But to them, that's the perfect balance, right? So it's coming up as something either illegal or immoral, something hiding from their partner. She is the hook, the Viking bull, hooked into the divine masculine to get the divine feminine's energy. Like she is the false light of the feminine, because she is the reflection of his ego self, his inauthentic self. Excuse me, whereas the divine feminine, right, when I talk about the karmic and my voice goes, whereas the divine feminine is a reflection of his authentic self. So this is where, you know, there's always been a DNA link to the karmic where she has, the masculine thinks that she's the twin because she has stolen this energy signature and uses it against him, all right, to pull him in. She pretends to be meek or innocent, but actually desires fame and will do anything to get it. But she has no power at the new moons, only full moons, when the divine masculine's power is obscured and he's seeing his false reflection fully. Dark X from Akashic records, red roses and white lilies, black, red, and white to show her dark power. Molehills all around her, demanding everything she wants, her way or the highway, via manipulation and the back roads, back doors. All under the radar, poor me, to guilt the divine masculine constantly. New life blocked by debt and intentions to ride in, but falling short at the end for the masculine in manifesting a perfect home or a new home or a celebration or a trip that's been canceled due to finances. But the party is already started, or he's already put the deposit down, whether it's on the party or the home, or wedding guests starting to be welcomed. But it must all be shut down now. But where have the brakes gone? All right, so we're getting a situation that he needs to get out of, but there's already, the ball was already rolling and everyone's already into it, and there may have been some money put out already, but it has to be stopped now. But now the masculine's breaking as hard as he can, but all hell breaks loose into chaos, and what was supposed to be a family function, a move or travel, nothing now is going forward, and someone's brakes may literally have failed recently, needing emergent repairs, whatever that was. It could have been people going to the ER or cars, ambulance or road service. The karmic all concerned and innocent, but don't be so sure, masculines, that she didn't play a part in it and now is playing the victim to get you to be pulled back in. She may have even cut her own brake lines to become the victim so you would save her, to get all to feel sorry for her, etc. You get the idea. Munchausen syndrome is coming back up here, as well as by proxy. So watch out for kids who may be sick too, or masculine, whoever's feeling sick or poisoned. There may be a certain situation where that's not going to apply to most people, but that's definitely coming up, so that energy is out there. Playfulness came up for the masculine after releasing your ex. Narcissist out, coddling victim. Now remember, this is still all underlying energy, so this is stuff you know about already. Okay, it's already happened, or it's presently happening, but it's the underlying energy. It's not going forward. I'm not making a predictions. This is stuff that's happened already. There's a narcissist out, coddling a victim while thinking of first prize, new love, with cherry on top. Destiny in mirror, mythos, cross keys, feet and toes, the point of crossbows, ankles crossing the olive branch, a distant relative perhaps. X marks the spot, 3 lines down and a question mark, with a pinch and a squeeze and a tropical breeze. Bloody Mary. So someone's mixing something up. Bloody Marys. Gotcha. All right. So someone's trying to entrap someone. The past is burned in plain view as new growth takes place. For some, a child. Make sure you know it's yours. If you're with your karmic at this point and they're pregnant, for the masculines, there's definitely that energy of getting pregnant by someone else's child coming up. So make sure it's yours if they've manipulated you back in with this pregnancy, or make sure they're actually pregnant, because they may be pretending, and then they'll get you to have sex with them again and get pregnant on purpose. All right, so there's some kind of that. This read ends on the 7 of Swords. There's definitely deception, if not outright illegal activities going on here. Okay, someone may be showing off new breasts, implants, or pregnancy boobs. Some envious, hung up on what others got, and some tied up and held down by their hair. All right, so this could be torture, right? So they need to be in pain in order to feel anything, because they're not their authentic selves. Or it's also coming up the tortoise and the hare, right? Talking about standing on the hair. Someone's held down by their hair. So the hair is the interfering part, right? The third party. And it's funny that the tortoise and the hare came up, because this morning there's a card in I think it's the Tarot of Sexual Magic, where there's always a turtle there. You know, someone's coming in at a slow pace, but it's always in like a spa area where it's white tiles with blue. And I'm like, I always wonder, what does that relate to? Because a lot of times I'll see something around my house that relates exactly to the cards, and that's been happening a lot lately. And today, when I was walking out the door to ground outside, I passed my plants and forgot I have a turtle hanging on my plant. You know, those little characters you hang on the edge. And I looked at the turtle, and his head was missing. So he must have fallen off too many times, but I never noticed that before. And this is the turtle having, you know, pulled back inside his shell. And I was wondering where the hair is, because I used to have a hair. I swear I bought it. You know, it's been there for years. And I pulled up the plant from the planter, and the hair was in the bottom, hidden in the planter. So I put the hair up, and there's the turtle and the hair. So there's definitely a theme here with them. So with this tortoise and the hare, there's a conceited woman showing off for all the world to see her new boobs, her pregnancy, and her boobs, or S&M possibly, sex practices, or hostage situation, literally. Rescue is slow as molasses, as the caterpillar and the turtle. Karmic with another man's child, telling the divine masculine with a smirk on her face regarding the divine feminine as she's pulled him back in, and you just see them cuddling like she's pregnant again, but it may not even be his. She's saying to him, just burn that bitch, no worries, baby, right? Like, or honey, you know, I'm getting that energy. Her winner's cup is in the window, you know, that big silver cup, and yet she's willing to take second choice to have her way, but she will never be gold. Inside, defeated, her actually defeated, this is her cross to bear. huge insecurities from her own childhood abuse. All right, but she's coming up as, I don't like reporting that stuff because it feels very negative and it's not something I identify with, so, but it's coming up, so I have to bring it up. It's all, like I said, it's already out there, so you would already know if this is your situation. If he offers the glass slipper, she knows, the karmic, that it won't fit her foot. And then what will she do then? So she always has to find manipulative ways to bring him back in. So time out came up for the masculine, that's 37, the King of Cups. And underneath that was healing, the 66, the Queen of Pentacles. That grounded energy of healing. And then time out for that unconditional love. So the Divine Masculine, from all this, he's healing. Karmics early on will get the divine, this is coming up as the template of the karmics and the Divine Masculines. Early on in the relationship, they would have gotten the Divine Masculine to do something that they're ashamed of, so that they can never let that secret out, and then they will never be able to leave the relationship. Eye on the chalice, the cup, the Holy Grail, the Divine Masculine sending codes according to the moon cycles with his eyes. Strongest mid-cycle, where it's balanced and destiny slows a bit, and he can see both his light and his dark. He's sleeping with the enemy with his hand close to the sword at night, his friend Blue Eyes. An ET candle holder, perhaps, ready to pounce when called to action, okay? The choices he's seeing right now are between the lesser of two evils, the flock or his own stinger, like being a single guy. With flock, he's a young deer, but he's on his own, he's the manly buck, the stud, but both are a lie. His blue eyes remind him, shiny blue ribbon, an onyx pen and gold leaf, filigree, and chain. That's his ball and chain, the ballpoint, pen, and chain. His words and thoughts, or lineage of nothing but the pure race of blonde hair and blue eyes, could come from the Aryan Hitler, Nordic Germans lineage, but also Pleiadians and their existence in that race. Family extreme prejudices are coming up here. Even if he doesn't agree with them, he had to go along with them in order to be included in the family. Both choices a lie, where he will never sleep in peace, always looking over his shoulder. No matter which inauthentic path he chooses, the truth will always lead back to one broken heart that he authentically loves. Lies, sex, and videotapes. Sword drawn, but nothing but lies, victim mentality, death, transformation, exile, and ignorance. And that was at 11:28, and there were sirens going off. And 28 is the twin flames, the two flames. Once the Divine Masculine releases the X, he can be playful once again and start over with a timeout, leaving any narcissistic tendencies or marriage and or contracts behind. Recently for the masculine is the Knight of Cups. A huge wave of emotion stirs as the Queen of Swords speaks again, with opportunity to 5D connect about the end for the masculine, about the end of family or chaos that he's going through right now, like him wanting to try to relay that information through the 5D. But now in the foundation for the masculine is the Ace of Cups. Is an outpouring of love, and that was at 32, 11:32, and 32 is the Journey card, the Six of Wands. The Ace of Cups is an outpouring of love over the grief, but still a little sensitive, the masculine, present to his own insecurities now and his own manipulations. So he's coming up at 32, which is the Journey, so he's being love, all right? This Ace of Cups, self-love, spiritual love, on the journey, wanting to give love to the world, okay? So centrally the energy is all about the, so here's the Knight of Cups card here in the recent past. That's this deck, okay? Tidal wave of emotion. And now here we are in the foundation of the Ace of Cups, an outpouring of emotion and love. As we come to the center, which is the Great Wheel, destiny, okay? And Adam. And the Neutron. Oh, Neutron came up with something. Can't remember what it was. Now I'm getting, what's that cartoon? I want to say Danny again for some reason, but I know it's not Danny Neutron, whatever it is, but that's coming up. So he's present to his own insecurities and manipulations. So centrally we have this destiny. It calls and it's here. Inspired to spend a little to make corrections with twin new love and the heartbreak they've experienced. The challenge being the full moon approaching and bubbling emotions of his false light. Okay, so here's the moon coming up. I think it's the 20th. So you see all this emotion with the moon and then the Knight of Cups. It's huge building up to this new moon especially, or this full moon. It's bubbling up his false light, the moon's reflection after not seeing eye to eye in disconnect from his twin and loss of money and status, or that he's just not been grounded ever since. Needing peace but stuck in his emotions and depressed, losing hope. The King of Cups and the Empress and Queen of Wands, and this King of Cups doesn't have to be masculine. He's coming up as the Knight of Cups. So it could definitely be a father or a father-in-law or a stepfather. Could be him as well though. But the Empress is coming up with the King of Cups first, the Empress and the Queen of Wands, GI, so grounding and integrating, lovers, and distributing assets to Leo suddenly as she packs. All right, so there's definitely a move out here. Crowning is separation as lightning strikes. Uncomfortable emotions rise. With insecurities about message of love and a new passion or opportunity or an invitation to lie this full moon, especially in these full moon energies where it brings up the masculine's own inner negative self-talk. So he may be tempted to go back to his old ways at this full moon energy because he's completely obscured. So the sun's light is obscured by the moon or his false light. Deliberations or bad decisions of the Empress in separation or at a distance. So this Empress is definitely coming up as a mother, a mother-in-law, or maybe an aunt, but someone who's very close to him. So I'm getting this King of Cups with the Empress. Could be his mother with his father, or his mother with a stepdad, or it could be in-laws as well, or a boss, someone who's running the situation. But either way, the King of Cups is partnered with her. But the three of them, the King of Cups, the mother energy, and then the Queen of Wands. In not only one situation, but right above it on another timeline, again is the Empress with the Queen of Wands. But the lower timeline seems to be where the Queen of Wands is reversed, and then there's an upper timeline where the Queen of Wands and the Empress are upright. So they may have good intentions, but things didn't go the way they wanted. So deliberations or bad decisions of this Empress energy in separation or at a distance, after time to take it in, Queen of Wands, depressed, lays down her swords, conceding or conceded that she is above all of this, or now understands the energetic connection that she no longer wants to be a part of, because now everyone knows, like she wasn't going to let go, but now that everyone knows, she can't let anyone see that she would be okay with that. When no one knew, no one knew about it, it was okay with her. She looked the other way. But now that everyone knows, you know, God forbid they should think that I'm okay with that, right? That was the energy coming up here. On one timeline, there's an evil Empress or a mother and a Queen of Wands who looks away. So it could be his mother or her mother. Or another Empress. So in that timeline, the Queen of Wands may not be so bad, the mother's bad, but she's been looking away, so she's still guilty. On another timeline, the Empress is with good intentions, but prolonging deliberation, like a mother who's drawing it out as long as she could. And this could actually be one and the same person. It also could just be the karmic as the Empress, drawing out the situation, the separation, as long as they can so they can benefit from the money, okay? To continue her comfort, whether this is the mother or the partner. Control of her son comes up, while the Queen of Wands now gets it in her positive energy and lays down her swords of war to the magician embodiment of the 5D lovers, connected to her sex life. The harsh truth sees her packing, standing up to energy-stealing accusations, all prim and proper, but kids saw everything, and the King of Cups did nothing. No mother's precious boy, so he could be, if he's coming up as the King of Cups, he's coming up as mother's precious boy, or the divine masculine's father controlled by her Empress, or stepfather or in-laws. or parents who are themselves in separation and using manipulation tactics all around this energy, okay? So soon, coming up here for the masculine is karma, or the karmic, after battle of the King of Wands, feeling incomplete, or maybe a cycle isn't quite done yet, but almost finished expressing feelings after a heated exchange. A doctor may have been called for a child, or hermit or Virgo looking over the cliff and noting that it's a long way down, with an opportunity to close and end the cycle for good and come full circle in a sudden explosion, epiphany, orgasm with twin. And then I got a solicitation phone call right after that, and that was 11:54. 54 is the Page of Swords, okay, which could be reversed, like a spy type of energy. So it was a recording on the phone, but just the energy was bringing that in right here. So then at 11:55, we get past that solicitation call, and then I was getting a child got hurt skiing or in some other kind of athletic event, because there's definitely ambulance energy if someone got hurt. So whether it was in that party where someone's brakes were cut and someone got hurt and rushed to the hospital, or whatever was going, there could be fighting at a family party or a wedding event, whether it was a masculine's that he called off or someone else's wedding that he had to pay for, that was coming up. A lot of ambulance type energy there. So if there was a fight and someone went into the hospital, or a kid got hurt from athletics and went to the hospital, or a car lost its brakes, or just had an accident and someone went to the hospital, that was coming in. But that's past now. Or there may be an explosion with the kids, with the masculine, in order to end a fight that they've been having, that's been ongoing. The King of Wands has been awakened and called to action out in the world with his twin. He is the Trinity, the truth of his work, and coming together and getting along together. Seeing synchronicities of third party and emotionally detaching or ignoring gossips and other options at work, overindulgences at work, only one option for him with his attention, but dark are orchestrating temptations at work. It's just 3712, which is being the King of Cups is unconditional love, but also 12 being wise, not allowing people to take advantage. All right, so stay optimistic came up for the masculine, so stay optimistic about your love life. Okay, confirmation. Healing family issues, and then engagement. So your commitment is moving to the next level, and then for the masculine to love yourself first. Around the divine masculine, or how he is seen, is the prisoner, anxiety and hiding in the woods. So it could just be representing himself in anxiety, hiding in the woods, or literally spending a lot of time in the woods hiking and stuff like that. Lovers committed, or there's affection at work, same-sex male marriage, or marriage of partners or brothers or family at work. So there's definitely like two of the same coming up. And they were coming up as two balding guys, but it can just be representative of brothers, like of the church, that kind of thing. But work partners or marriage of men. The worst over now regarding hiding their secret, a high priestess, psychic abilities, and or secret, possibly about abuse of power from the church and or childhood sexual abuse from a priest, pastor, or family member. Or just was hiding, it doesn't have to be a pastor, a priest, any kind of religious leader, or just was hiding from having a lover while married. Now that the worst is over and releasing self from prison, burning the past to start fresh with twin in a work situation. The masculine needs to clear blocks about purging cycles, that you must be that the idea that you have to be 100% clear to deserve new love, and must express all feelings when the devil waves, or the masculine comes in, okay, the Capricorn divine masculine, when he waves hello is this devil energy, but not the feminine not expressing, the masculine not expressing his full light yet. So then the feminine shouldn't, give all their feelings at once, and the same for the masculine, because he may not be in his full light yet when you come into union. So rebirth comes up here, but even more so for the masculine, manifestation and follow your dreams. The divine masculine is inspired to a date, some romance, or just passion, like a teen after divorce or justice, or is a Libra, or his divine feminine is a Libra, or there's a child here in the situation. Either which way, an awakened emperor, after found his inner child, inspiration again, and stood up for himself as the emperor or to the emperor. A big risk of separation for Destiny and the Queen of Pentacles could cause conflict with the King of Swords reversed, dysfunctional family, or a loss of money to his family. The King of Swords reverse is coming up here due to lying to children when he was with the karmic still, but watching the divine feminine at the same time when he was still in his commitment to the karmic. But maybe he was caught and there was family damage due to liar, cheater, thief energy. All right, where maybe his kids caught him like looking at the divine feminine or something like that, to that effect. The kids know anyway. They know by your energy. But scam energy was coming up here, as well as energy stealing. So Virgo or Hermit is now clear without options. So whether this energy, this also could be the masculine or the feminine, but it's coming up as the masculine energy, now clear without option, but still creatively blocked and or frustrated, or sexually frustrated. So we turn the page, it's 12, it was 12:12 at that last message, and then 12:14 is the Temperance, the Angels card, the death walk of the masculine, moving forward now, no longer resisting the change, now released from anxiety, stress, crying, and purging cycles, defenseless to the energies coming in and to others' attacks, but now recovering in a practical way, no longer caring what they think, and ready to offer love. Knight of Cups. Okay? So abandoned in exile and moving through portal to new love at work or for work, releasing karmic love, contract, or commitment anxieties. A huge emotions well to destined offer of love, challenged by this full moon coming up and karmic purges and separation, lightning striking and downloads coming in, but not released yet. Full moon explosions. Illegal activities come out, conflicts and fights with family after new love and destined separation, karmic retribution at work for scams, stealing, illegal dealings, and hiding the truth, anxieties, and stress of illegal or immoral things coming out, in a separation, causing conflict with the divine masculine and or family caught, and reputation damaged. Either way, divine masculine ends up on top. Knight of Cups, offer of love, or the divine masculine now sees the divine feminine's offer of love is still there after all they've been through. Okay, so that's the read. We have, this was the crowning energy of the Three of Orbs, the lightning coming in, striking, the challenge, the moon. Okay, these two you saw already. Whoops, going the wrong way here. Then we have the near future is the karma card, okay, which is a little different than usual. And then we have the masculine seeing himself as his work, the Trinity card of the workplace. And then what's around him is the anxiety of the Eight of Orbs or the Eight of Swords, hiding. The challenge, the blocks that they need to clear have to do with the purging cycles, all right, the suffering, the purging, crying. And then the outcome was that Seven of Swords, which is Seven of Orbs in this deck, with the conflict of the Five of Wands right after it. So that's not good news, okay? That's definitely all the crap coming out with this full moon, okay? It's all coming out. Okay, you guys. I'm going to end it right here for this, okay? If I want to do oracles, I'll do that a little bit later. But I want to keep this shorter for now, okay? Rise and be loved, guys. After I show you the pictures. All right, so I have a bunch of pictures here because there were some that came up in the... Which way am I going here? All right, so these all came out in the shuffle. And then this is the main read. And then... Whoops. Am I going the wrong way? Now it's coming up. Okay, this is the complete read. see that? I know it reflects a lot. Let me just put the light away so you can see a little bit better. Okay. Rise and be loved.